Hello! 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 That is so played, Jerry. So played. How's it going, Nicholas?
Just splendid. I'm trying to type out the tweet and I can't. You just said you're so fucking stupid. You tell me. He tells everybody, "Hey, take us live. You go ahead and get the
No
Twitter
such
tweet
thing.
ready,
No such
and
thing.
I'll I can't type.
Manifestation.
I can't type without
Manifestation.
it bugging the fuck out of you. So I have to mute myself. And then you throw it at me. Fucking 10 seconds in.
Nicholas, are we live?
Uh,
Are we live?
oh, we're not fucking live. Show's canceled. Everybody, go home.
Oh, is the skeet ready?
It's not. No, because I had to stop typing. Because if I start
Okay.
typing,
Okay.
if
How
I
about
start
this,
typing,
Nicholas, go live. I'll prattle on. Don't worry about it.
we're already fucking live. And I just pressed a button that created a marker on the episode. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I never know with StreamYard.
I will tell you this, folks. I will tell you this. We're having fun tonight. A little later, I had to share a story with Nicholas. I had to get something off my chest because it was bugging the shit out of me. But I will tell you this. We will be discussing in just a few moments who our most recent guests were on our Friar Side Chat. And if you subscribe, and if you hit that little bell there on the YouTube to get the alerts, you would have seen us talking about last week's guests, Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom. Grom? Rhymes with groom. And I forgot to say their names during the introduction. So that was hilarious. So I made sure that with our upcoming guests, I said their names loud and proud, very clearly for all to hear. Is that skeet now ready, Nicholas?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Excellent job.
But seriously, make sure you hit subscribe and alerts, and Nicholas will remind you to do that in just a few moments. But before he does, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, TLDR Studios proudly presents you the greatest, and I mean the greatest, podcasting team in the world. He's the Hall of Fame comic book writer, Nick Friar. I am your pesky, tenacious doc, and together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club. Baby, how's it going, Nicholas?
Hall of Fame comic book writer. I think you're convoluting a couple of things together, but I appreciate the compliment.
No. You're a Hall of Famer, and you're a comic book writer. No one needs to know. The Hall of Fame of what?
This is true.
The two things are true. I didn't inherently lie.
Nicholas. There you go. Well said. You know what? You're absolutely right, and I've never been more happy to be wrong. And as Joe mentioned, we got some Friar Side Chats for you. If you didn't listen already, we had Matt Groom and Kyle Higgins on, the co-writers of Immortal Legend Batman. The FOC on the first issue of that series is coming up August 4th, the first Monday in August. So as you're listening to this, if you're driving into your local comic shop, or maybe you just left and you're like, fuck, I didn't talk to them about it, give them a buzz. Let them know you want that added to your pull list while there's still time. I would imagine there's going to be a ton of issue ones at local comic shops, but I also imagine this is going to be flying off the shelves. So you want to make sure you secure at least yourself one copy of Immortal Legend Batman issue 1. We had a great time talking with them. I thought we got some great insight. And the thing, Joe, that we've talked about this, I think, a little bit already. I know we did during the interview, but I've talked about the world building. I've talked about the end of the end of the first issue, the backup story stuff as well that's in there. All of it just fascinating. But one thing that I continue to bury is the first thing that I noticed in like the first 5 pages of Immortal Legend Batman issue 1. What an amazing tone set in that. Like one thing you brought up in our conversation was how there's like radiant black type lettering at the end of that 5th page, at the end of that. But it's like, seriously, dude, I mean, did you feel that same way when you finished those first 5 pages? Like, I feel like this is a great ending to the book. Never mind starting things off.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with the big two, right? That's not an uncommon thing because they might have, a lot of times, two stories, right?
Yep.
Two completely different stories by two different creative teams, or whatnot. So like, they did an excellent job of giving you that feeling several times. Now, they've said it's an oversized, it's an
Yeah.
oversized series, it's an oversized first issue, so you get that feel a couple of times. That's just how epic that first issue is.
And the only place you can listen to this conversation, this is just a small taste. Like you're hearing from Joe and me. Like you want to hear from Kyle Higgins, you want to hear from Matt Groom as much as you guys like hanging out with us on a weekly basis. Maybe not me. I don't know. Joe has to the one that's doing me every week consistently, no matter what. He can't control it. But the only way you're going to listen to those conversations is over on our audio channel. So that's Apple, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide Radio, Audible, Amazon Music, all the major podcasting platforms. You can find us there. And while you're there, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of Tenacious Doc. And tell a fellow comic book reader. Again, we're always trying to do stuff that we as comic book consumers want to have in addition to the stories that we're talking about. And we get to talk to all these creators and get different levels of insight. We talk about stuff that from a fan perspective, we talk about stuff from someone who has an art background and interest in art, writing background, interest in kind of getting into that element of the craft as well. We get to dig into so many layers. And while we didn't have any of the artists associated with Immortal Legend Batman on the show, we did for our upcoming chat with Orla, which is the upcoming Mad Cave title. It's going to be dropping not this new comic book day that this episode is dropping, but the following one. That's by friend of the show, John Lee, who you guys have heard from at least 3 times before, Joe, if I'm not mistaken. If not, maybe 4. Okay, 3, and this is going to be the 4th one. And then we also had Sally Cantorino on the show. She's the line artist on Orla, and we had a great conversation in terms of talking about serious stuff, talking about funny stuff, talking about horror, and then kind of melding everything together. I had a great time talking with those two.
A lot of butt talk. Lot of butt talk. Even some Speedo talk. Even some Speedo. So come for the come for the horror, stay for the eroticism.
I will say we've never had a spit take on the show. We came like inches from that in the first couple seconds of the show. So you guys will have to listen to figure out when that exactly happens. But yeah, that was some awesome stuff. And then, of course, over the weekend, before we get into, we actually do have a first look that we want to get to. Before we do that, the Eisners obviously happened at San Diego Comic-Con. A lot, of course, happened at San Diego Comic-Con. A bunch of different news. From the Absolute Universe, we learned we're going to get Absolute Green Arrow in the spring of 2026. We found out that the first crossover is going to be in the Absolute Universe between Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman, which I think is going to be fucking awesome. The Eisners, we saw creators who we've had on the show, creators who we've highlighted previously get nominations, win stuff. I think Absolute Wonder Woman, right, won Best New Series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So let me get to that in a second. I want to rip a couple of these off because Best New Series was absolutely loaded, right? But we've got like Best Limited Series is Zatanna Bringing Down the House, written by Mariko Tamaki.
Hell yeah.
And I sung her praises. So I'm really
I'm going to talk about that on the show. I have dibs on that book. I haven't finished it.
Yeah. Awesome. Jean Luen Yang, right? Won a couple of Eisners for best publication for teens, Lunar New Year love story, and I think also I think he got best writer. Best cover artist, Tula Lote, right?
Oh,
best
hell
coloring, Jordi Belair. Clayton Cowles for best lettering, right? And then like best graphic novel, we get The One Hand and the Six Fingers.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, which Joe talked about on the show previously.
But the best new series, I think that's the one I think we should highlight real quick because this was an absolute effing banger. We have, as Nick said, the winner being Absolute Wonder Woman by Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman. So, like, hell yeah. Like, Kelly's got an Eisner, Hayden's got an Eisner. Let's fucking go. And, I mean, we've talked about it every month, just how good that series has been. Absolute Batman got nominated, right? Snyder and Dakota. Minor Arcana, which is a book you fucking snaked for me.
Yes,
written by Jeff Lemire and drawn by Jeff Lemire. This one I haven't heard of, The Pedestrian, by Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman. That's from Magma Comics.
Yeah, we haven't done stuff with them before.
But the Power Fantasy, right? We had Kieran Gillen on with art by Casper Wingard. I mean, that's
a floppy winner
that,
first, just so everybody's keeping track at home. We're setting the tone for the Eisners.
And then Uncanny Valley, right? Tony Fleeks and Dave Walker. That series just wrapped up. So like some very deserving nominees, very deserving winners. So and we've had a lot of those people on our show.
Yeah,
100%. We've had a lot of those people on this show. So that's another reason why you should subscribe and hit the alerts because to brag just a smidge, Nicholas, we're talking Eisner winners here. Yeah, we're calling it before they even happen.
Yeah,
you know 100%. What I mean.
We are dealing with the best of the best.
Yeah. So sure. Kicking ass and taking names, right?
Kicking names and taking ass, whatever, something. A lot of more butt talk, of course.
More TLDR after dark.
Yeah.
Exactly. But let's get to this first look real quick, Nicholas, because this one was a doozy.
Yeah, 100%. It killed everyone but me. More butt talk. Issue 1, and this is a title that we've been excited for because Ryan Parrott is one who's writing this series. Art by Lizia Candassini, colors by Alessandro Santoro, and letters by Taylor Esposito. Joe, would you like to hit the people with the synopsis?
Years ago, a brutal slasher massacre in the woods left a group of teens dead. The lone survivor, Jessica, seemingly moved on from the horrific event and is now a successful therapist. But when a new series of murders occurs, Jessica returns to her hometown to confront the dark secrets of her past, only to discover the truth is far worse than she ever thought. The real killer has returned, and he's just getting started. A pulse-pounding horror thriller. It killed everyone but me. Takes everything you love about slashers and adds a fresh, terrifying twist.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. It was really freaking good. Slasher fans, you absolutely have to be checking out this series. This survivor has like this dark cloud surrounding her, and it's impacting her on a few fronts too, which I found very interesting. And like any Ryan Parrott story, in any good story, I would say those are synonymous, but any good story, there are a lot of layers in this first issue. And I love that about Ryan, where it's just, you think you have something going on and then twist. And one of my favorite writers in comics, and this issue is another reason why I can't wait to see all of these layers get peeled back. And also the art, Lizia Candassini, it has a familiar vibe that I really appreciate, that we haven't seen a whole lot elsewhere, but everybody, I think, who's reading modern comics will have clock that familiar vibe right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the first thing I picked up on, if we're being honest. The work with the eyes, that's the hint that I'll give you. But very, very good stuff.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So the FOC on It Killed Everyone But Me is August 18th. It's going to be hitting shelves in September, so right in time for spooky season, September 10th, and then going into October and whatnot. But make sure you let your local comic shop know you want this added to your pull list. Maybe we'll get Ryan on the show to chat about this a little bit. But we got plenty to get to this week, Joe. No catching up for us, but there are some new comics that we want to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I did catch up on a few things. I fell behind a little bit on Daredevil, and just some of the books in July kind of got away from me a little bit. So,
are you sticking with Daredevil? Because I think you said you were waffling on that and on Wolverine.
Yeah, I've definitely sort of given up on Wolverine.
Okay.
But definitely I got picked back up on Daredevil.
Nice. Okay, that's good to hear, because that's not necessarily the idea where you're dropping both of them. But if that happens, that happens. So I'm glad that at least Daredevil is one that came through for you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it was only like an issue behind, so I went back and got caught up on that. So, but yeah, I think I'm kind of like Wolverine, like, but Daredevil has been pretty good.
Okay, how did you take us through Marvel then? Jesus,
you got it. We have Ultimate Spider-Man issue 19. Some news that was released from San Diego Comic-Con that
Yeah.
this is ending in December, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think you're right. That's
Yeah,
right.
fuck.
Terrible news.
Not ready for that. Like I could read this series forever. It's just, it's just been that damn good. We have the Ultimates issue 14, the Incredible Hulk issue 27, Spider-Man and Wolverine issue 3, Gods One World Under Doom issue 1, Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six issue 1. I believe that's written by J. Michael Straczynski. The Vision and the Scarlet Witch issue 3. Bring on the bad guys, Loki. Werewolf by Night, Blood Moon Rise issue 1. Savage Wolverine issue 1. Marvel and Disney, What If Goofy Became Spider-Man issue 1. Star Wars, The High Republic, the finale, issue 1. Marvel Rivals Infinity Comic, issue 13. And then a number one, Nicholas, that I would like to discuss. Did you read this one?
Oh yeah, 100%. I got to read Tony Fleece and what he's doing over on the Thing right now with Justin Mason.
Yeah. So the Thing, issue 3, drops this week, and again, like I never thought I'd sort of read a Thing standalone comic, but when Tony's attached to a project, I'm sure as shit gonna read it. And in typical Tony fashion, it kicks ass, right? And so what I love about this series is there's a great deal of heart in it, but there is also just there's a larger game of chess going on that we still don't quite know why this little girl is so important. So there's a great level of intrigue, in this series and in this issue in particular. Justin Mason's action work in this is fantastic, to be a little punny there.
Uh,
But it's tremendous. Like, this is, if you haven't been reading the Thing, I highly recommend you go out, hit up your local comic book shop. I'm sure you can get past issues 1 and 2. If not, they'll order them for you. And I wouldn't be surprised if these things kind of go into a second print. But the Thing 3, Tony Fleeks and Justin Mason, excellent.
I really appreciate Tony's ability to make me feel the Thing's struggle. Like Ben Grimm has a heart of gold that's like always put to the test because everyone has this strong reaction to his exterior, and like Tony and Justin make me think about that with every single issue, and with this issue in particular, I feel like this is the best representation of the struggle that the Thing has to go through in that regard. So yeah, he's the best. Like I've said it before, like how I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four guy, but I do like the Thing, and I like go back and forth on the Human Torch always. I have no issues with the Invisible Woman, really. I don't like Mr. Fantastic. Like, I'm excited to see the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet. But I just think that's generally the character who I have the most issues with, but because I don't like his powers. But that's probably more a me thing.
Speaking of the Fantastic Four movie, remind me post show. Run an idea by you.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Yeah. All right, moving over to DC.
Light week from DC this week.
Yeah, nothing that we've particularly been reading. Although the Flash issue 23, Cy Spurrier's run is coming to an end on the Flash. I hadn't been reading it. I don't read a ton of the Flash. I haven't over the years. Like obviously, like Flashpoint. I read some of. I forget if it was. I don't think it was. I think it was Rebirth. Yeah, Rebirth that I did read a little bit of that. I think that was Williamson's run, and I did like that. But the Flash isn't a character I'm necessarily looking for stuff from. So I will go back and check that. But issue 23 of that is out this week. Batman, The Last Halloween, issue 8. DC, Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 5. Justice League, Dark Tomorrow, special issue 1. Gotham City Sirens, Unfit for Orbit, issue 5. And DC's California Love, issue 1.
It fucking pained me to fucking type that out. I almost left it off, to be honest with you. I was like, you DC, love you, mean it. Come on.
What? I love the idea.
Yeah. Now give me a Californication. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking, right?
Okay.
From Boom. From Boom Studios, we have The Last Witch, Blood and Betrayal, issue 2. Fantasy fans, read this series. It's fantastic. This was a really good issue, and what's been a really good second start start to the second arc. Fence Breakthrough Game Changer issue 1, and then from Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan, we have The War issue 1. What's the name of the series that this is collected from?
Oh, I just had it. It's the Hello Darkness.
Hello Darkness. So Hello Darkness is something that, Jesus Christ, like, that's a big miss by me. Like, I knew the
Us.
premise of it and then I forgot. And like, so Hello Darkness is like an anthology, like a horror anthology series. And so Garth was part of The War. Issue 1 collects the 3 issues that, this takes place, in the Hello Darkness series. And I read this. You didn't, right, Nicholas?
Correct. I did not read this.
Okay. So this was interesting, right? So, and it's typical, Garth Ennis. It's a real thinker, right? Like, it really, like, Garth has ability, with dialogue to really sort of, push the boundaries, right? As we know from Preacher, but he's just a really fantastic storyteller, and he's really good at sort of taking things from, from sort of current, what's going on currently, and tell a great tale. So, like, it starts off and it's like, it's pretty heavy, right? Especially with today's current climate. And then, it starts to move into talk of sort of nuclear war. And as the reader, you're thinking, oh, you just have a bunch of intellectuals, sort of talking about, intellectual hypotheticals, right? And discussions that you may have had with friends or family, Nicholas, discussions I've had with friends and family, and then shit gets real. And it revolves around these groups of friends, and you've got the typical dynamic where, you've got that one person in the group that's the know-it-all, thinks they know everything, the smartest person in the room, sort of thing. And so, like, he's looked at a certain way, and so they're all friends, but they all, like, we get to see them individually, and they're all talking shit about each other, like, to their partners and stuff, which was really cool. But then, like, when shit gets real, how they all kind of, like, either manipulate each other or play each other, and sort of how they handle what's about to happen. And then, like, you get sort of the pivot point in this story. And so, like, this one issue has 3 issues, so it's just chapter 1, 2, and 3, and it's like the end of chapter 1 on, where it just really cooks, pun intended, with gas. You'll know what I mean when you read it. So I would definitely check this out. I mean, Garth Ennis, like, he's an institution, so, like, he writes something, you read it, and this is one you definitely don't want to miss.
Yeah, and Becky Cloonan, Tamara Bonvillain also on this. And it
Oh,
looks like,
the art is fantastic.
looking at the page count quickly over on League of Comic Geeks, it looks like it's like a little over 33 pages long too. Because I was curious, like, was this something that could have been done as a mainline episode? But it's just like this one really short, concise story.
Yeah, I'd imagine because it was part of Hello Darkness, each story was probably only a couple pages,
Right.
maybe 5 pages, sort of thing, 6 page, whatever it might be. And so, whatever 33 divided by 3 is, Nicholas.
That would be 11.
There you go. So half an issue, right?
That's not our
yes.
program. That's Mac and Goose shop.
No,
all right,
I didn't crack backs to do math for a living, Nicholas.
Exactly.
Except count them fat stacks in my bank account.
Oh, wow. You had that one fucking ready to go.
No stacks. No stacks. Side note, when Violet first started learning to talk, I would do this thing with her where I would say, "Daddy has," and she would reply, "No money." And then I would say, "The Red Sox," and she'd go, "Are bums."
Oh, wow. Wait, what year was Violet born?
So she was born 2017, but she really didn't start talking until she was about 2.5, close to 3. So, like, after they had won the World Series and when they really started to stink, when they traded Mookie Betts.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically when I taught her.
Yeah,
that they're bums.
If she's born in 2017 and it's post 2018, yeah, like 100%. Yeah, because forget that shit. All right. So moving over to Dark Horse, we have Star Wars Hyperspace Stories. Hyperspace Stories, Tides of Terror, issue 1, The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, Children of the Night, issue 2.
And a whole bunch of cubed ice.
I was going to ask, can you still say that when they add in Children of the Night at the end? Because it's such a long title, but you did it.
Yeah.
You went there. So good for you. Why don't you take us through Mad Cave?
Okay, so from our good friends, Mad Cave Studios, we have they actually had they I think they had the best week out of all the publishers, because they had some real awesome doozies drop this week. So we have the Pale Knight issue 3, which just continues to be just an absolutely like brilliant, brutal, devastating story on all levels. We have Bitchcraft issue 2, which is a great name for a comic. We have the conclusion to Dark Pyramid issue 5. That was a really twisted book. And then we have 2 books that we'd like to discuss. Nicholas, why don't you kick things off?
Yeah, we're turning into the David Pepos podcast is what we're turning into over here. He is, of course, writing Speed Racer. The first issue of that series starts this week. It is out this week. David Tinto is the artist, and colors are Rex Locus. And I gotta mention his colors because holy shit, the art in this book is friggin' outstanding. You guys heard me talk about issue 0 on Free Comic Book Day a few months back, and that was really good. Like, it was really nice table setter, got things going, but this issue really ramped things up. The motion that David Tinto creates with his artwork is something you don't see often in comics, and the plot moves just as fast. Like, David Pepos knows how to take classic characters. Joe's got his Speed Racer bandana that Mad Cave gifted him. That's fucking awesome, by the way.
I told you I could be bought, Mad Cave. Yes. Right, you're in the lead for Publisher of the Year again. I'm just saying.
Oh man, but seriously, David Pepos knows how to take classic characters and perfectly reimagine them for fans of the original source material, while also creating space for new readers. Like in particular, the way he's developing Speed in this story has me all fired up. The emotion in this first issue was fucking outstanding.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. Was the emotion of it, right? Like it really, like it was heartfelt, and you've got these characters who are young and brash, but you know, there's this great dynamic between Speed and his father, and then just, you know, Speed and his brother, and then everything that transpires. And you know, like with a lot of these sort of nostalgia properties, you know, that we've been getting lately, like I think they've all done a great job at knocking it out of the park in terms of bringing in new readers like myself and you, for example, like Flash Gordon, Speed Racer, where like we either weren't born or we just weren't old enough to appreciate them the first time around. But now here we are, and you know, we're getting it for the first time, and we absolutely love them. Like if you asked me a year ago, 5 years ago, you know, oh, you'd be reading, you know, telling me that I'd be reading a Speed Racer comic, I'd be like, fucking high. Right. But here we are, right? Like, cause I mean, the movie came out with Emil Hirsch, you know, a long time ago. It looked pretty cool, but like that didn't pull me in. This pulled me in. Like every panel, It was fantastic.
There aren't as many books like for us normally. Like we've talked about it before, how there's a lot of books. Like there's certain weeks where we just have a lot of books that we usually talk about, and there are quite a few. Don't get me wrong, that we're reading. It's not like that, you know. It's like we have 2 or whatever. But it's weird because there are a couple books that were like real heavy hitters for me. And Speed Racer's right there. What I'm trying to get across is like, I want to say that this is the best art that it's not a contest. This is the best art that we got all week, but I'm looking at the 2 other books that I particularly wanted to discuss. Actually 3, because there's another Mad Cave title. And it's like, I can't definitively say that about Speed Racer, but understand, like, everybody, it's in the conversation, and it's so appropriate for this issue. Like, because when you said, like, I wouldn't imagine reading a Speed Racer comic, I can understand that. But when I look at this, and the motion that's in that art, man, it's just like, fuck, that's just so uncommon.
Yeah, it feels fast. I want to go fast.
Right? Yeah, it's very Ricky Bobby like, some would say. But anyways, there is another Mad Cave title that we wanted to discuss by our pals TB Dandry, and of course artist Alex Sanchez. I did that one on purpose.
It took me a second. I go,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, he did, yeah, he did that. He did that on purpose, right? Because we had this discussion, Joseph. You're not full sundown just yet.
Yeah, look at that. Tim Daniel, DB Andrew, Alex Sanchez. Joe, what book is that?
That would be Crush Depth, and this would be the finale to Crush Depth, and
Alas.
this was. So when you're reading it, you kind of get a sense of how things are going to go, but you also don't at the same time. And as as you're reading, like right from the first issue, right, the suspense is real. We both sort of talked about there's a claustrophobic feeling to it. The suspense is just constantly sort of running real high, and each issue, right, the action ramps up, the horror ramps up, the intensity about it ramps really up, and especially in this last issue where the art, we get some sequences of art here that absolutely blew my mind. But again, I think that's the theme of the week, is that the emotional tone that this issue took. There were several moments where you felt it. You felt the sense of loss. You felt the sense of wanting to fight on. You felt this sort of sense of honor and hope and fear. Like you really felt it. And there's a moment between two characters there where it's just like, hot damn, that gets me right in the feels. And that's a testament to Tim and DB, because they always seem to bring that out, in their books, and they really kind of, get to me, in that way. And it's something that they truly do excel at. And then we get the finale, right? Just those last few panels, and you go, oh, what an ending. What an absolutely brilliant ending. It was fantastic.
The very ending of the issue had me wincing.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
you had to.
And did it leave a door open?
It might have. It might have. Yep. Maybe
Yeah.
it did. Fast paced and airtight until the end. Joe, you put it great. I just wanted to add that in there. Crush Depth issue 5. I believe the trade is coming out in September. So if you've been trade waiting on this one, I don't know why, but that will be available for you guys to check out. All right, Joe, I'll take us through these last few before we round things out with Image and Skybound. From Oni, Out of Alcatraz, issue 5. Make sure you subscribe to our socials, because Joe may be talking about that book a little bit later in the week. Distillery, we got The Missionary, issue 3, which I thought Distillery was also having some issues, because I haven't seen The Missionary either. So I'm not
sure. I own it.
You have it?
How do I own it? You don't.
I must have just missed it.
Yeah.
This is true.
I'll give it.
Yeah, you gave it back to me, because that's right. We had Ryan on. We talked about it, and you gave it back to me.
I let you have it because I was sundowning. I must have been in a manic state of niceness.
There are times where you're like generous, and I'm like, what is he doing? And there are some times where you're not, like, you're like ready to rip something out of my hands, and I'm like, what is going on? It's just
I'm pretty sure I have it. I will bring it and give it to you when we go to Boston Fan Expo.
Okay, cool. Put that on everybody's radar. We will be at Boston Fan Expo. We're looking at the Friday and Saturday of Fan Expo Boston. So there's a lot of good creators there, a lot of friends of the show, and hopefully future friends of the show as well that are going to be there. We should start mentioning that actually. Isn't that fucking next week?
It is.
Talk about sundowning. Holy shit, we should have been telling people that already. God. Yeah, remember, we're going to be at Fan Expo Boston coming up. So if you're going to be there, make sure you say hi to Joe and I. We will definitely be wearing some level of TLDR or Heroes Don't Do That apparel. All right, from Dynamite, we got the Terminator issue 9, Thundercats Lost issue 4, Space Quest. Sorry, I almost said Space Quest. I did that last time, I think. Space Ghost, Johnny Quest, Space Quest issue 3. Well, I'm not wrong. Okay. DuckTales issue 5. Needless to say, I'm not reading that title.
Just name it Space Quest.
Yeah, this is also true. Silverhawks issue 7, which Joe is reading that series. Gargoyles Demona issue 2. From IDW, we got Sonic the Hedgehog issue 80. Godzilla versus America, Boston. What the fuck? Issue 1. Monster High World's Scare issue 1. And then TMNT Best of Rennet. And then from Titan, we got Heatseeker Exposed, issue 2.
Exposed boobies. There's a
You're
lot of
feeling
those.
you're feeling really confident after the oral conversation. That's all
Well,
it's coming out of
that
everybody.
was a line from Psych.
Oh,
But also, if you're familiar with the Heat Seeker series, there is almost boobs on every page.
this is very true. Speaking of Psych, I watched a movie, a Netflix original movie that had not the psychic cop, but his buddy. It had him in it, and he was a cop in this, but much more like rugged voice and all this kind of stuff. You're not as good you're not a bad cop, but you're not as good without your psych buddy.
That's right. Tell me the name of that movie. I gotta check that out.
I don't know if you want to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that good? I'll tell you, but it wasn't that good.
Okay. Fair enough. From Image and Skybound, we have The Scorched, issue 43. Medieval Spawn, issue 4. News from the Fallout, issue 2. Nicholas, what did you think?
Oh man, that was you know what? There's a character that we meet in this issue, and I was just as I'm reading it, I'm like, this guy's an asshole, and then we spend more time with him later, and I'm like, fuck you. I hope that thing's happened to you.
Yeah, I gotta go back and read it again. Like that was just like there was a lot to take in. What's the furthest place from here? Issue 22. You'll Do Bad Things, issue 5. Salmon Twitch, Case Files, issue 16. Lazarus Fallen, issue 2. Genna, Naked Aggression, issue 2. I, Tyrant, issue 1. And then we have a pair of books, Nicholas, that you would like to highlight. Where would you like to start?
I'm going to start with the Sword of Crisis events, but first I do want to mention what's the furthest place from here. That's a return to the series. Like, Matt and Tyler have been busy doing other stuff, so the title's been on pause for a bit. But Joe and I gave us a chance to kind of catch up because this one had slipped past us. And the end of this issue is there's a lot for the main characters that are going to be dealing with after this issue.
So I had to get caught up on this because I can't seem to find any of. I must not have been downloading them or saving them. I couldn't I got to go back and because I read all of the trades that are available on
Hoopla,
but I want to say I should be caught up, but I feel like the last the last volume that I have on Hoopla ends at issue 18. So it's 19, 20, 21, 22. I feel like I would have read that somewhere.
There was a weird thing that they did with the trades at some point. We can work on that together and sort that out for you 100%. But yeah,
that's the only reason why I didn't read it this week. So it's like, oh shit, did I just need to get caught up in the last few issues?
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Assorted Crisis Events issue 5. This is the final issue of this series. I am going to talk about it on the show. At first, I was like, I don't know, because these are series of kind of one-off stories. And then Joe was like, well, if you really like it, which I do, think about it. So Denise Camp is the artist on this series. Art is by Eric Zawadzki. I've talked about the heaviness of each issue, and the finale, this issue, no different than any of the others. But the focus here is about the cyclical nature of life that we all deal with at some point, or are currently enduring, or have maybe always endured. And that's what's so good about this series is they face Denise and Eric are always facing on talking about real shit, and in some way, shape, or form, you either have endured it yourself or know someone else who has. Probably a bit of both at all times. And while this story is as impressive as any of the others, I have to point out how impressive Zawadzki's art was in this issue. I swear to God, every double page spread, because there are quite a few of them, I'm like, this must have taken this dude an entire fucking day. I don't know how many pages, every artist is different, how many pages they can do in a given day, but I'm pretty sure a spread usually doesn't take a full day for one to do. I don't know. But I looked at this and I'm like, if this probably, and when I say it took a day, I mean at least 8 hours to do that thing. It was fucking crazy, some of these, Joe.
Yeah, animation also is rarely done live. It's a tremendous strain on the animator's wrists.
Yeah, yes, it's crazy. No, but seriously, we there's another creator who another child that returned where stuff these things happen. It's crazy. But then I don't know. I don't get the joke that you were trying to go for.
Simpsons reference.
Oh, see,
with Poochie.
This is okay. Gotcha.
Homer asks, "Is this going to be live?" Well, Homer, animation is rarely done live. It's a tremendous strain on the animator's wrists.
You got me there because I was like, what is he? What is he like? Yeah, what? Anyways, but the other thing too, so I talk about the double page spread. There's this other page that is also a spread. I might show it to you, Joe, even though like I want to talk about it on the show. You have to see it because I'm almost like, how did a human being illustrate this thing? This is insane. Like it's such I would it's so to me it's so cohesive, but it's so fucking complicated. Like and like the patterns. No, but seriously, like I'm that was a cheap Tim Robinson joke. It was there. I couldn't pass by. But seriously, I was blown away by Zawadzki's art in this issue. That's why I was talking about Speed Racer before. I'm like, I want to say this is the best art of the week, but it's like Zawadzki's shit was fucking crazy this month. And also, I do want to point out, not as important, but there are some epic Easter eggs in this issue. There's one page in particular that is riddled with a few Easter eggs for like people who are fans of pop culture and maybe the focus of this issue where there's a couple tip of the caps to other stories. And I really appreciated that little moment of reprieve because like all the other issues of sort of crisis events, this thing was friggin' heavy, man.
Well, I can't wait for you to discuss it because, this was, this was a book where I was just kind of like, yeah, take it. I didn't like, so that was dismissive on my part for whatever reason. To be quite honest, I feel a little overloaded at times. I'm reading a ton of books, so trying to keep track. So like adding another one to the plate sometimes seems like a daunting task. So I'm glad that you took it, that you loved it, and I will look forward to reading this one in full.
It's what the show's all about, man. That is why this show was born, to make sure that, hey, we can't read everything, but let's help each other out and make sure we got each other's backs covered. So that way we know, oh, this is the thing I missed. Go back and check it out. I think we've done a pretty damn good job of that throughout the life of the show.
Pretty good.
Yep. And then, as we mentioned, with like, this is where I was thrown off with your artist joke because we get a letter in the back of Lucky Devils issue 4. And the Charles Soule, Ryan Brown are the creators of this series. Obviously, done a couple things together. 8 Billion Genies is one I've talked about on this show previously. This book had been on a bit of a hiatus, kind of came out of nowhere. I know you and I had both been wondering where is this throughout the course of things. Seems like there's been some rough off the field issues kind of going on for the creators, for the creative team. Thankfully, it seems like things are progressing in the right direction. Obviously, the book's coming out, that's a positive sign. That's more in the letter to the readers in the back. I don't want to pull too much from what they're saying to the readers, but just worth noting 100%. And I highly recommend, I know Joe mentioned to me when we started going, like, check out the conversation that's in the back of Lucky Devils issue 4. As for the contents of the issue, Lucky Devils issue 4, amazing return. Massive developments in the plot. The seed of unravelment has been sown already. And we've got new characters added. And some of them, all of them pretty much, have fucking awful names. The new cover, there's a new character on the cover who's fucking awesome. Once I saw her look, I was like, I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna like you, and 100%. But I gotta say, like, of all the new characters, that you get all these fucking gross names, and they're in the most of them are in the first like 3-4 pages. But I gotta say, the one that was like, I legitimately again winced, Joe, catheter splint. Like, no, what the fuck, Chuck? Come on, like, you can't be making up names like that. Like, show me a guy that's not gonna fucking be like, oh fuck, why?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was tremendous. It was so good.
So awful. God.
I liked What the Fuck, Chuck. That was great. We're going to rebrand the show. TLDR is now called What the Fuck, Chuck.
Got to have Charles Soule on if we're going to do that. But yeah, jeez.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think he'd love that.
You check this out, right?
Oh, it was tremendous.
Yeah.
It was, and considering what I read at the end of the issue, right? The sort of the letter to the readers, considering what happened and seeing the art, without skipping a beat, and sort of what went into making sure that it's absolutely stunning. And so, like, we love this issue right from the rip. And it was a bit of a break, and I think they announced it's going to be coming out bi-monthly, right? So every other month until they wrap up here. So excellent stuff. This was I mean, I love our two main characters. I love the art. Our two main devils, I should say. And I love this is a fun as hell story.
Yeah, it really
And it's
is.
twisted and bizarre in all the best ways possible.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd argue too, like when you talk about how it's bi-monthly, my first like thought as you brought that up was like, yeah, but these issues are so rich. Like it's total like bi-monthly. This is like because there are some books where it's like they're wicked fast, and we like that, but like that's not great for bi-monthly books.
Right, and the thing too is that with even with the hiatus, they did a great job. Didn't skip a beat. Like it
Not at
stayed
all.
that fresh. It stayed that fresh in my mind. When a book like Department of Truth takes a hiatus,
Yeah.
that I've got to go back and I've got to reread because so much does like it's so intricate and it's so heavy at times. This it's because I think it is so vivid and it is a lot of fun. These characters are very memorable. I didn't have any difficulty at all pulling it back up. Like the recollection was right there, and I think that's just a testament to the artwork and that's a testament to the writing. It's just a great series.
Yeah, it really is. And I talked about 8 Billion Genies on the show that has been optioned, and I loved 8 Billion Genies. I really think I'm gonna end up saying that I like Lucky Devils more. I don't want to like do anything to expectations and stuff like that, but it's just I'm really fucking enjoying the series. And like you said, it was gone for I knew it had been gone for a bit. I didn't know it had been gone that long. I figured there was like a I figured it wasn't forced upon them rather than and it was actually a decision. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And it came back and it was like, nope, like you said, totally fine. Like I knew exactly where we left off. I knew what was going on. There's so many moving parts, but at the same time, it's all like simple in the best of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yep.
blows my mind.
Yep.
But yeah, so Lucky Devils for me is see, I can't even say that. Like Short Crisis Events is really good, and the Mad Cave books we talked about. Like I don't know, you know what? I love that. Like I love not knowing what the book of the week is for me necessarily because it's just like we want to be. We don't give a fuck about what's best. We just want to make sure we're reading all the good shit. But that is going to do it for us this week. Again, reminder: subscribe to to our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Instagram as well because we're doing Instagram Live as well there, and you're getting all the social stuff, all the clips that we're putting together, both from interviews, from stuff that we're talking about during the show, some original stuff that Joe is also putting together. Follow us on TikTok. We don't do anything live there, but that's our social handle. And we're on Blue Sky and X as well. But you have to, if nothing else, just subscribe to one of our audio channels because that is the only place that you will get our Friar Side Chats. Those are conversations with creators across the industries. Of course, we just talked with Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom about Immortal Legend Batman. Up next, we have John Lees and Sally. Oh my God, I don't want to butcher her.
Cantorino.
Sally Cantorino. Sorry, Sally. We have her. I did almost say her name incorrectly. Sally Cantorino on to talk about Orla. That's going to be dropping on Monday ahead of that book hitting shelves. Reminder: Immortal Legend Batman. The same day that our Orla chat drops, Immortal Legend Batman. That is the FOC. So make sure you guys get moving on that if you haven't already. Solicit next week, Joe.
Keep reading, perhaps.